I want to talk
Sure.
about how you got into this because you started in a field which we know well here at Quiet Light. We've worked with a lot of people that would fall into this sponsor category, right? The search funder type category. Can you explain to the audience just what you did before this, how that worked, and then how you parlayed that into Guardian due diligence?
Sure. So when I left Harvard Business School, my first jobs after that were in private equity. So formal institutional capital meant to go buy companies. And so my start in the business came from that. But I was working for more family office, more independent groups. And so that's sort of in my blood. I then rolled out and started a independent sponsor. They call them self-funded searchers. There's a million names for them. Fundless sponsor. Investment firm with a mentor of mine called Ellsworth Partners, and we bought companies $1 million to $5 million in EBITDA, both online and offline. And then I started my own firm, Spartan Capital, that was doing essentially the same kind of thing with just by myself after my partner retired. And so around that time, 2017, I started Guardian. But if you think about what that means is that I'm in sort of year 10 of evaluating, assessing, and running processes in sort of small and medium business deals, both offline and online, from the seat of a buyer working for others, a buyer working for myself, and now an advisor. And so I understand the owner persona, I understand the buyer persona, I understand the advisor persona. And so my background is a bit different than some other advisors in my space that come from more CPA or financial analysis core backgrounds. I'm more like an applied deal guy. Is probably one way to say it.
Yeah, that fits really well with the Quiet Light approach, right? Because everyone in Quiet Light, we're all entrepreneurs first. We've all bought and sold businesses before we started in this field of advising, right? So the same
Right.
sort of background where
Right.
we've been in the shoes of the buyer, we've been in the shoes of a seller, we've done larger acquisitions. Most of the advisors at Quiet Light were actually clients before they came on board with us as advisors. So a lot of affinity there between backgrounds, except for the Harvard Business School. I wanted to go, and then life got in the way.
I'm still fun to hang out with. So don't hold it against me.
No, we love Harvard. I actually had I had some of the professors that teach the ETA course on the podcast a long time
Oh,
ago.
you had Udkoff and Ruback?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I had Royce on. I'd been working with the ETA course for a while.
Okay.
So
Royce actually helped me craft my messaging to get my first job in private equity.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Small. I have a huge amount of respect for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, if you see my background, you can't see my background. It's behind me. I have their book that they put out, the guide.
Yeah.
Business. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah, cool. People are listening live as we're finding our connections here. Love it. So how did you parlay this into Guardian due diligence? When did you decide or see the need that, there's a need out there, not for the mid-market $50 million, $75 million deal, because there's a lot of people that want to play that space, right? It's lucrative.
Yeah.
But that sub $25 million enterprise value, and really, I mean, for a lot of our listeners, they're looking at the mid high six figures, seven figures, maybe low eight figures would be the very cap.
Right.
Where did you see that opportunity?
Well, as a buyer myself, and for 6 years, I was an independent buyer, I saw not only how difficult it is to get good deals done, which, Mark, you can write the book on that as well, right? But also how difficult it is to find good, cost-effective, efficient, smart, deal-oriented advisors, and you need them like you need oxygen during this process, right? And when you get guys that are, highfalutin with a bunch of credentials and they charge you $400 an hour and their number two guy is $300 an hour and then their analyst is $150 and you ask them for a price and they can't give it to you. Or, hey, what's involved in the quality of earnings? Well, they're all different and this and that and that and this. And, oh, by the way, you got me in my busy season. So I can get to you in 4 weeks and your seller is going to kick you out of the process in 4 weeks. I just saw how difficult it was to get deals done. That's not to mention that I think operating a private investment firm, or even you and your buddy looking at deals, operating a due diligence process plus keeping some sort of gas on the pedal around deal sourcing is like 150% of your capacity. So now add to that the complexity of finding good advisors. I just knew the whole ecosystem was wrought with opportunity. So I started Guardian to serve that customer need, to sort of be the solution that I wanted when I was in the buyer seat, and to be very specific about delivering the things that I knew were needed, would have helped, and really helping, I think, a whole set of acquisition entrepreneurs execute good transactions.
Yeah, and I love where you're coming from with this, right? This idea that managing an acquisition is a multi-faceted operation as far as the number of skill sets that you really need to have. And you can branch these down even further. Due diligence, being able to do a good due diligence, not a single discipline, right? It's a multiple discipline type of tool.
Absolutely. And I mean, even go further than that. If you back up, because we do more than quality of earnings, if you think, so diligence is what I called it because people know that they need a QOE and they need a legal doc to get a deal done. So if you're thinking sort of brass tacks, the QOE is sort of the one that kind of puts you in the game. But really our services start from deal sourcing to evaluation to honestly negotiating with guys like you, the whole litany of things. And you got to be a business person, entrepreneur, a finance person, valuation, a psychologist, a negotiator, a assessor of risk, a master of timing, a master of tact, and all these things take years and years and years to develop. And so it's tough even for people that have like deep levels of expertise in many of them to execute all of them. And oh, by the way, when you're putting $1 million plus up, whether it's your capital or you're getting debt, the consequences of making bad choices are severe here.